What is up, Pokemon Go family? It is your boy TheGoulGuy back at you guys yet again with another video, and today we are going to be showcasing another team for the Great League. Spoiler alert, I did not hit veteran just yet. We ran into a couple of walls on the way there, so I had to switch up the formula, how you say. But essentially I just kept running into a bunch of water type Pokemon. So what did I decide to do? I came in with the electric type Pokemon to counter them. So essentially right now we have a team consistent of Stunfisk, we have Dewgong, and as well we have Dusknoir. Yes, Shadow Dusknoir to be exact. The premise of this team, essentially the Stunfisk is a really good anti-meta pick, really good against poison types, and of course really good against the water types, which they are a lot of poison and as well as water types in this meta. And then of course we got the Dewgong as a switch in, because, you know, of course, because it's really good against grass type Pokemon. I mean, of course it's also weak to grass type Pokemon, but I believe it has more of more good matchups than it does have negative, let's say that. But Dewgong as the switch, and on top of that, it's able to use Drill Run, which is really good against poison, as well as steel type Pokemon, which is really good. And then last but not least, Dusknoir, really good Pokemon to hit neutrally, especially with the Astonishes. And then of course has the quick charge move of Shadow Punch. We also have Dynamic Punch, which is also going to be really good against steel and as well as ice type Pokemon, which we also see a lot of as well in this meta. So anyways, that is the team. That is basically what's going on here. It's a pretty much a anti-meta team. That's pretty much how like the main setup of this team is. We got Dusknoir in the back to hit neutrally. We're gonna save shields for the Dusknoir in the back, of course, because it's a little bit more squishier than the two Pokemon we have in the front. And yeah, like that's like the main premise of this team. Throws a lot of people off with Stunfisk too, because, you know, since it is a electric and as well as a ground type Pokemon, of course, you know, the matchups, like, it's really hard to try to counter it. So that's why we have Stunfisk in the front. But without further ado, let's showcase the IVs of all the Pokemon that we're going to be using today before we get started with the battles. Let's go. First on the list is Stunfisk. Let's get our Stunfisk here. Boom, boom, boom. Our Great League Stunfisk here with Thunder Shock, Discharge, and as well as Mud Bomb. These are the IVs here. Decent PvP IVs for the Stunfisk. And then next on the list, we have our Dewgong. This is our main Dewgong here with Ice Shard, Drill Run, and as well as Icy Wind. Essentially, you're going to need a Elite Charge TM and as well as a fast Elite Charge TM to actually, you know, get the Ice Charge, and I believe, Ice Shard, and as well, I believe the Drill Run was the one we actually had to add with the Elite Charge TM. It might have been the Icy Wind, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was Drill Run though. That's another one that you need to use a Elite Charge TM if you want these moves on the Dewgong. So pretty expensive to actually put onto the Dewgong. Now, I will say, built this in 2023. Do not crucify me here, okay? Using an Elite Charge TM on a Pokemon that's not viable in the Great League, okay? I built this a while ago. This is why this is the situation. But anyway, before I knew the PvP, how it's actually supposed to go. But I will eventually be building another one. But of course, this is the one we use. GoulGuy, of course, you're using freaking dang near almost hundos in the Great League. What's wrong with me? I understand. And then last but not least on this, we have Dusknoir. Dusknoir here, the IVs are like horrible actually. This, I was actually trying to basically get a viable Dusknoir before the Team Rocket takeover, the last Team Rocket takeover actually ended, but this was the only one I actually had at the time, so, you know, to have an actual one to use during the Great League, I just used this one and I built it up. I mean, it's really not a issue to actually build up another one, so, you know, it's no problem to me if I do have to build up another one, which I definitely will because the IVs on this are trash, right? But anyway, we got Astonish, Dynamic Punch, and Shadow Punch on the Dusknoir. But that is the team. Those are the IVs. Let's get into the battles. But anyways, yeah, so I was just getting freaking walled with all all like I kept running into people that using double water type Pokemon. It'll be either a Lapras. A lot of people using Feraligatr right now. I've noticed that too, which is kind of crazy. Feraligatr, really good Pokemon, still in the Great League and the Ultra League, which is insane. Anyway, we start off the battle. We got Stunfisk versus the Azumarill. Looks like the Azumarill is staying in here, which is fine. We're gonna try to build up a little bit more energy before we throw the discharge, and I got a little greedy. I literally got too freaking greedy here. So basically we're just gonna have to shield this Ice Beam here, and they end up switching out into a freaking Clodsire. So now basically what we're gonna have to do here, we're gonna throw a Mud Bomb, and I believe we're just gonna switch out and conserve the energy that we have on the Stunfisk, and goes directly into our Dugong. This match actually works out phenomenally for us because of course, you know, Dugong Ice type is gonna do some decent amount of damage to the Clodsire, but thing is, we do have to shield potentially a... Okay, never mind. I thought it was going to be a Stone Edge. It wasn't a Stone Edge. That's fine. So basically, we're going to save our shields for right now. Use the Icy Wind. Either lower the HP on this Clodsire or get a shield. But we end up KOing the Clodsire, getting literally one quick fast move in, which is nice. And then they bring back in the Azumarill. Now, one thing I do have to be concerned about, they still have 2 shields. We only have 1 shield right now. So pretty much it's a little lopsided here. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to debuff the Azumarill just a little bit here. Arguably I could have just put, you know, some pressure on the Azumarill with the Drill Run, but you know, I wanted to actually, you know, debuff it a little bit so at least I can survive maybe one more move potentially, so I can get off maybe another Drill Run. That's kind of my thought process in it, but my health is already super low. Regardless of what move, well, obviously not Ice Beam, the Play Rough will KO us, no problem here, of course. Now this Azumarill does have a lot of energy right now. Thank goodness they actually switch into a Talonflame, which of course this this electric move, the discharge, is going to be super effective against, which is going to be very nice. Basically we get to another discharge before they get to another charge move, which is also very great here. See if I can get their last shield or not. Let's see what happens. We do get in their last shield, which is very nice. Now with this, I'm pretty sure I can take a charge move here, but I'm not going to risk it. It's a Flame Charge. Oh my goodness, it was a Flame Charge. Flame Charge, definitely a better move to use on the Stunfisk anyway, because it's at least going to hit neutrally, not going to be like a Fly or a Brave Bird, which wouldn't have hit neutrally, but still probably Brave Bird probably still would have KO'd me regardless there. But anyway, essentially, we both don't have any shields now, if I'm not mistaken. They end up using a Flame Charge here. And basically, I tried to get to another charge move. I should have known they were freaking gonna already have a charge move ready for me with the Azumarill. Azumarill farmed up a whole lot during the last matchup here. Best case scenario, best thing I can do here is try to build up to enough energy to take out the Azumarill and take out the Talonflame. So let's see if that actually works out. I have a smidgen of health. We're gonna throw a Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb's gonna insta KO. Can I get to the discharge before the Talonflame finishes me off with the Incinerate? We can get to the discharge, and I don't believe they have any more shields left. Does disconnect, and it does. Boom, we end up getting the win with like literally a smidgen of health. Definitely could have played that game a lot better. Probably could have switched out some Pokemon a lot sooner, but we still ended up winning that game, giving us the win. Let's go. Let's go. But yeah, it took a little getting used to the team. I already knew Stunfisk was a pretty good Pokemon in the Great League, but essentially, like, I don't use it as much as most other Pokemon, so, you know, I kind of had to get used to its weaknesses, its what's best at, stuff like that. But anyway, we got Stunfisk versus the Jumpluff here. Now, the beauty of this is if Jumpluff has the recommended moves of Fly and Acrobatics, I take no damage, like no kind of damage. Well, Acrobatics takes a decent amount of damage, even though it's not effective to me. But basically what I'm going to do here is try to see if they have the Energy Ball or not. If they do have the Energy Ball, I will take a lot of damage, but at least I'll know if it does have it or not. They're not using the move just yet, so basically I'm just holding off here. I'm not going to use a shield. Let's see what it ends up being, because they could just bait here. And it's the acrobatics. Look at that. Acrobatics, decent amount of damage, even for it being a non-effective move, which is very unfortunate for me, but still, it's not effective, so it's not going to take me out, even if they get to another one here, which they do, and they do, but we do get to another discharge. We should be able to actually end up KOing the jump bluff here if they end up taking it, or will we get the shield? Let's see. Okay. We don't, and I probably should have just stayed in here. Thinking about it now, I probably could have just farmed down the rest of this jump bluff, but that is fine because they bring in a Drapion, which Drapion is not going to like that drill run whatsoever. We're just going to shield the first one because, of course, the first one, non-debuff, is going to do a decent amount of damage. Not quite to half health, but I would assume pretty low. So basically, we're just going to shield the first one, throw an Icy Wind, at least debuff it before we try to get to another drill run here. They could go for a catch. Let's see what they end up doing. They don't. Okay, cool. So we do get the drill run off. And I'm pretty sure they're probably going to try to shield this one as well. Drapion is super spammy, so essentially, yeah, you definitely probably want to keep it in just because of how versatile it is. And they end up switching into their freaking Dugong as we get to another charge move, which is fine. We end up switching basically at the very same time. So I am going to be able to get to the discharge before they get to their charge move, which is very nice. At this point, I'm thinking, what do I want to do here? We switch into the Dust Noir. Dust Noir probably going to be the best case scenario because Dugong is definitely going to be better matched up with the other Pokemon that he has here with the Drapion. We definitely don't want the Dust Noir next to the Drapion for sure. I get to the Dynamic Punch. Now, arguably, I guess I could have basically KO'd the Dugong with the Shadow Punch, but I wanted to guarantee the KO with the Dynamic Punch, which we do end up KOing it for sure. We're going to save our shields here. No point of trying to fight the Drapion with the Dust Noir. Astonishes, obviously non-effective. And they'll pretty much just probably get to their charge move before we even get to ours. So no really point of doing that whatsoever. We're just going to let the move go through, and they bait with the Aqua Tail. Let's go. I was thinking in my head, they probably did not have that much energy to actually throw a crunch there because they threw it instantly. So we end up calling the bait, getting the Aqua Tail, and yeah, we end up KOing them with the Drill Run. If they were to get the bait, if we did put up a shield, potentially they could have built up to a crunch and then, you know, could have KO'd us potentially. So good thing we called the bait there and we ended up winning that game. Let's go. Let us do it. Let's do it. Also, too, by the way, with this new event with the Applin and everything like that, I finished the premium challenges, so we will be I will be showing you everything that I'm going to be getting from the second page. We finished the second page today. I finished the second page today. I haven't really been able to go out as much because it's been raining lately. So essentially, yeah. So I'm gonna have to like show you guys what I got in this video. I know it's a PvP video, but you know, at least you'll be able to see. Maybe if I get a shiny, let's see what happens. But anyway, we got Stunfisk against the Malamar. I forgot what exactly they had in the front there. I probably should have switched out by now. Probably switched into the Dust Noir. I mean, technically, this is a dark and psychic type, so I mean, Astonish is still going to do a decent amount of damage. But anyway, we're staying in with the Stunfisk because I believe the Dugong is still going to be able to do what we need to do regardless. So essentially, yeah, we stay in with the Stunfisk. We definitely want this Malamar gone. We do not want it going against our Dust Noir whatsoever. Just gonna let the move go through. What is it gonna be? Foul play, staying in. Look at that, Stunfisk, the pancake Pokemon taking these foul plays, no problem. Smidget of health. Do they shield? They do not, and we gain switch. I mean, they switched in, and we didn't even have to do anything, right? They had a Clodsire in the front. That's what it was. So basically, we're gonna bring in the Dugong. Might as well just bring in the Dugong, right? Dugong doing a good amount of quick move damage with the Ice Charge, which is very nice. At this point, I should shield. Yeah, just going to shield because it could be a Stone Edge as it is. Look at that. Stone Edge would be super effective against me. Might as well debuff the Clodsire before they throw another Stone Edge for sure, which is going to be nice. Boom. They don't end up shielding, which is also pretty great. And they switch into a Sableye. Now, arguably, I keep saying this, arguably, I probably could have held on to the Dugong and just used the Dust Noir on to the Clodsire. Since, you know, the poison stings are, of course, are not going to be super effective to the Dust Noir here. And yeah, and then also too, I built up to 2 freaking Shadow Punches. I definitely should have thrown at least 1 Shadow Punch to at least guarantee a shield or a KO, but I did not do that. So, so yeah, I don't know why I was just so dumb to not do that. And yeah, this literally could basically cost me the game here. Yeah, we try to farm down the Sableye just to build up enough energy before they switch in, and we get to the Icy Wind, which is very nice. Right, so we are going to be able to debuff the Clodsire again, but unfortunately I'm already low on health because of that Sableye doing a numerous amount of damage to me before they actually ended up getting KO'd here. And regardless of the debuff, Stone Edge is going to just instantly KO us, and we end up going down, losing that match. Definitely operator error on my part. As you can see how much energy I was farming up on that Dust Noir. I don't know why. I was thinking in my head, oh, I'm just going to farm down the Sableye, come out with energy on the Clodsire, but I shouldn't have underestimated how quickly the Sableye can get to his charge move energy. Sableye, really good Pokemon in this meta as well. We showcased this Pokemon before, and yeah, Sableye is a beast. But anyway, we got Stunfisk against the Registeel. Now, Registeel, not really going to have that much charge move pressure onto me. I mean, it does have the Focus Blast. Focus Blast does do a decent amount of damage to me, but I am not really too afraid of that. We're going to throw a Mud Bomb, super effective Mud Bomb, onto the Registeel. And let's see what they end up hitting us with. Literally the only thing they could hit us with is the Focus Blast. Let's see what ends up happening. And it is. Look at that. It is the Focus Blast there. And then they switch into a Azumarill. This is where I was saying Stunfisk is such a core breaker, because essentially it's an electric and a ground type Pokemon. So it is going to be good against those water types that they bring in to go against your ground type, which is going to be very nice. We build up to another Discharge, and we insta switch into the Dugong, hopefully to catch a Ice Beam. This is perfect. This is basically perfect. This is where we need to be right now. Catching the Ice Beam, doing basically non-effective damage, and we end up wasting my opponent's energy, which is going to be very nice here. Gonna go with the Icy Wind just to debuff it, so essentially the Play Rough do not hit that much, which is going to be very nice here. Of course, they're not going to shield it, because between the Drill Run nor the Icy Wind is not going to do that much damage, which is going to be fine. They do get to their charge move here, which I am not afraid of. They already got debuffed once here, so shouldn't be too bad. Play Rough coming through, yeah, didn't do that much damage. They switch back into the Registeel. This is the beauty of having 2 Pokemon with ground type moves. Dugong, such an amazing switch. Drill Run coming through, doing a really good amount of damage to the Registeel. We get to a Mud Bomb. We already had the loaded Mud Bomb onto the Stunfisk, which is going to be very nice. Boom, taking out the Registeel, and they come in with a Claydol. Okay, so Claydol not going to be the best for the Stunfisk. Stunfisk most likely is just going to go down here, and then we're just going to have to switch in the Dugong. Or I could switch in the Dust Noir. I really have options here. Look, at this point. So yeah, we switch into the Dust Noir. Might as well, because the Astonish damage is going to do a tremendous amount of damage, especially it being Shadow, to the Claydol, which is going to be nice. And we can hide behind 2 shields at this point. They end up using Rock Tomb, basically lowering our attack, which is fine. Because I believe the Shadow Punch should still KO this Azumarill unless they use a shield here. And they don't. Okay, and they survive. But that's perfect for me. We end up catching another move on the Azumarill, and what is this move? It's the Play Rough. Okay, Play Rough still did a decent amount of damage to me, which is very unfortunate, because, you know, they're not debuffed anymore, so of course that makes sense why the Play Rough did that much damage. But we still have 1 more shield left, so essentially that Astonish just went through before they end up throwing their charge move, so that will lower them, and I only need 1 more Astonish to take it out. And the thing is, Claydol takes forever to get to his charge moves, so we end up winning that match. Let's go. Dust Noir for the win. Let's do it. Let's go, let's go. I believe we have 2 more matches to get into. But as you can see, that is how the team really works. Like, the synergy between Stunfisk and Dugong is amazing, and if I can at least save a shield or two in the back for Dust Noir, it's flawless. It just works out perfectly, right? All right, so look, another good, decent lead anyway. We have Stunfisk versus the Azumarill. Of course, the bubble is going to do a decent amount of damage. The quick moves, both of our quick moves are doing a decent amount of damage. So I get to the discharge, which is going to be very nice. What I'm going to try to do is catch onto the Dugong again once they get to the Ice Beam. But what I think I end up doing, I think I overcharge. Yeah, I overcharge it just a smidget, because if I'm not mistaken, I think I do like 2 or 3 charge moves after I at least fill it up one more time. So yeah, this is what I do. I do this again for the second time. So basically what I do, I end up throwing another discharge here, right? And then now that I know that it only takes like maybe 2 and then switch. No, 3 and then switch. Oh my god, okay. I timed it perfectly, but I forgot where I was in terms of my counting. But anyway, we ended up getting the catch perfectly here, and we catch on the Ice Beam yet again. Basically what I was trying to do the first time, but of course my counts were wrong. Yeah, we caught onto the freaking Talonflame. So as soon as we switch into the Dugong, they bring in a Talonflame, which is fine, because since it is part flying, it still takes a decent amount of damage from Icy Wind, even though it is a fire type Pokemon, which is going to be very nice. Let's see what ends up happening here. We do still have a shield. I could shield here and potentially take out this Talonflame, but you know what we're going to do? We're just going to let it go, and we're just going to farm up with the Stunfisk. Might as well. Look at that. Since it used Brave Bird, the damage onto the actual the Talonflame is going down tremendously fast. And they use Brave Bird. Oh my goodness, Brave Bird, non-effective. As you can already see, literally took barely any damage onto the Stunfisk. That is the beauty of Stunfisk, bro. You barely take any damage from any flying moves, which is amazing. Basically, going to get off the discharge. We have 2 discharges at this point, so I could throw another one, which I do end up throwing another one. The farm down of that Talonflame was so worth it here, getting that extra energy, which is very nice. Boom, doing a decent amount of damage. Switching into the Dust Noir, see if I can snipe it the rest of the way down, and looks like whatever they have in the back did not want to see that Dust Noir, and they end up conceding the freaking match. Let's go. Or they didn't want to see the Stunfisk, because the Stunfisk technically was still kind of healthy. But anyway, that is the end of that. We ended up getting a jump pluff from the rewards. Nice, let's go. Love seeing the jump pluffs. But that was a 4 out of 5 that we end up winning there, getting us back to 2,400. Yeah, I dropped back to 2,300 and it came back up to 2,400. Like, when I tell you the roller coaster ride I've been going through, like getting to this freaking veteran run is ridiculous. But anyway, that is the end of the match there. Basically, yeah, that is the end of the matches there. And basically what we're going to do right now, we're just going to look at the rewards that we got from the end of the Sweets Discovery Premium Time Research. Since I didn't want to open these myself, you know, like just me, I wanted to show you guys what exactly I got from this research. By the way, how are you guys doing in the Sweets Discoveries event going down right now? I've heard it's very hard to actually find applins or even apples out there in the wild. You know, I feel for you, because typically I'm able to get through or like evolve most of the new Pokemon that come out without even trying, typically before I even go out to the park. But it seems like a lot of people have been having troubles actually finding them. But yeah, like I haven't evolved any of my applins yet, but as I said, it's been raining for the last like week, so I haven't really been able to go out. But anyway, I did finish the challenge. Let's see what we end up getting. We get a Muna. Just going to quick catch these because I already know this is the end of the video and I don't want you guys to stay too long. Boom. All right, cool. And we'll check the IVs of each one at the end of this. So let's catch that. We got a Bidoof. I don't even know why we get Bidoofs in researches anymore, but especially ones that you pay for. That's kind of crazy. But, you know, can't argue. God, you know, God. Bidoof the God. Can't be mad at that. Komala takes a little... Yeah, you got to use a berry on Komala for sure. Caught that. Cool. Squovit. Oh my goodness. Don't jump on me, Squovit. What are you doing? Last two, Delibird, no shiny so far. I see that, which is crazy. Oh my god. All right, I should have known Delibird was gonna take a little bit more. Boom, cool, caught that. And second to last one, Cherubi. That would be cool to actually get a shiny Cherubi, man. That would be actually pretty awesome. Alright, Cherubi is caught. What do we have? What is the final Pokemon? It is a Applin. 300. Okay. Actually, I think that's actually a really good IV. But basically, we're going to use Silver Pineapple this. You need 200 candy to actually evolve this Applin. Oh my god. 200 candy, and you need 20 of the specific apple you want to evolve it in. That's like what is going on? 300 is the best one I've gotten so far. That's pretty decent IVs. I'm not gonna lie, I will take that. As you can see, I only have 6 sweet and 4 tart apples. Oh my god. But I do have the candy. Well, no, I have half the candy too. Oh my goodness. All right, anyway, yeah, it's gonna be a while before I end up in any way evolving any of those for sure. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that little short segment of me collecting the last remainder of my research. But yeah, but overall, hope you guys enjoyed the video of me showcasing this team. Let me know what you guys think of the team down below. If you guys enjoyed, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.